Well, good morning to you, and welcome to a Thursday. I hope your day is getting off to a good start. We are back at the house. I'm Dan Gresham, and this is what we just call Dan's At Home Update, which, again, is exactly that. No pretense of being a newscast, because it is not. It is just me and you and some conversation, things that are happening in our community, things that are happening around the world. And again, we welcome you in. When is rain not rain? When it doesn't show up on Doppler radar, I guess, but it's still, I don't know. If you haven't been out yet this morning, there's wet streets out there. I noticed that on my way home this morning. Certainly some drops on top of the car that had been parked in the studio parking lot before I left there this morning. So it might be a little damp and certainly feel the humidity. But that being said, we do have a front coming through, and you're going to see a change in temperatures. Now today, we will get back into the 70s. How high into the 70s remains to be seen, but we'll get into the 70s, and we will also see a shift in temperatures. We're going to drop down some. Now, I'm not talking about Dallas-Fort Worth this morning. I flipped over to see some of the folks that I've known for years up there doing their shows, and they were at 33, 36 degrees. We're not going to be there, but we're going to be cooler tomorrow, so be ready for that. And then by the time we get to the weekend, we've got rain, and I'll let the meteorologist explain the rest of it. Just kind of a heads up, if you're going out this morning, what it's going to feel like. It's very humid out there, that is for sure. Well, this is a Facebook Live. We always like to explain two basic principles that you can do for us this morning. One of those is to post a comment. If you're interested, you can tell us where you're watching, what's going on in your world, something you want to know about, something that you feel like, I don't know, you have a bone to pick, something that you think people aren't doing that you'd like to see. There are a lot of things that you can bring forward this morning. Also, the other thing, do me a favor, hit me with the little blue circle that's got a thumbs up in it. It's a like, right? We all know the parlance now, what it means. But if you do that, then it just helps me as far as the spread and being able to get things out to more people, because that's what they call part of a formula called an algorithm for Facebook. And that's how they judge who sees what, right? So the more likes you get, the more likely you are to show up on other people's pages. All right. So all that said, you can also go to YouTube. We have a channel there. It's called Dan's At Home. If you subscribe, every one of these updates will come to YouTube. And if you hit the notifications, you'll know when they're coming. All right. So let's check out who is up and going this morning. And to do that, let me walk over here and see that Latoya is up this morning. Hi, Latoya. Hope you got a good day started for yourself. Terry Guillory, good morning to you. Also, Esther Holloman is up this morning. Tom up in Frankfort, Illinois. Good morning to you. I would be thinking it's probably cold in Illinois. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. Weather always fools me, because I always think any place north of, say, Woodville? Not really. But anything above the Texas border, it must be cold. It's, winter, which of course isn't true. Hi, Denise. Thanks for watching us over in Humble this morning. Also, Margaret, good morning to you. Carolyn's up this morning. Ebony is up this morning. Margaret's getting her day started in Orange, but she's in Beaumont this morning. I don't know what brings you over, but I'm glad you're going. Up in Comonino this morning. Hi, Nora. I was up in that direction not too long ago. I had a great visit with some folks up in Warren. Dixie, good morning to you as well. Hi, Doug. Hope the day is off to a quick start for you over in Orange. Wanda is up this morning. Vicky is watching from Tylertown, Mississippi. Now, Vicky, I have to imagine that you must have some connection back to Southeast Texas. Otherwise, why would you be watching this in Tylertown, Mississippi? I'd like to think, it's because, we heard about you. The word is out. You're such a great... No. Vicky, good morning to you. As I said, Betty, good morning as well. Also, William is up this morning, as is Donald Holt. Good morning to you as well. Ebony is, what's going on? What are your thoughts? I don't have any thoughts at all, Ebony, on that, to be honest. I'm just being honest. I don't. Allison, good morning to you. Scott Jenkins, Vermont, 65. Are you serious, Scott? 65 degrees in Vermont? I'm thinking Vermont snow covered. You guys are, using snowshoes to get wherever you need to go, whatever. Jason, good morning to you, sir. Sherry is up this morning. Anna's in Pineland, and she is watching this morning. Jose, good morning to you as well. Good morning there in Mauriceville. Cheryl and Scott Jenkins is also up this. Well, Scott says, no, it is not snowy in Vermont. LOL. See, he can laugh about that. Just like here in Texas, we laugh when we talk to people and they think everyone's walking around in Stetsons and cowboy boots, and we know that's pretty far from the truth. Hi, LG. Good morning to you, Tammy, over there in Livingston as well. And again, all welcome. We read all the comments. If you don't see your name or if you don't see a comment that you posted, don't think that it wasn't read, because they are. Everything is, once we get finished, I go back, I take a look at everything that comes in to see what's going on. Marie Jackson, good morning to you as well. All right, let's jump into it. Of course, the point of doing these is always to bring stories to your attention that you may have missed or maybe you did not miss. This morning at KFDM.com, number of interesting. I'm going to come back to this one. I'm going to shift over because I think this story probably is a bigger story. Remember, we told you that the infusion center, the regional infusion center in Beaumont, was going to double the number of treatments that they were doing. Well, they're having to walk that back a little bit now, because what has happened is all of these infusion centers across the country are making the same demands on the same stockpile. And there is just not enough to go around. And that being said, Jefferson County judge says that they may have to limit infusion therapy later this week because they can't get more Regeneron. His quote is, I wanted to let you know that there exists a potential for the infusion center later this week to begin limiting infusions to those in high-risk health categories. We have not received the allocation that we ordered. This week, we received about 15% of what they asked for. He went on to say, we're searching high and low for alternative sources of supply and hope to be able to continue to serve all those who desire the infusion. Likewise, the state is working hard to provide what we need, but the supply chain issues may become a challenge. And we talked about this just for a passing moment yesterday, that sometimes in medicine, we get into a situation that demands triage, right? Where you care for those who need it most. You take the most severely injured first. If you're triaging in a combat situation, that's how it goes. Those who have the least injuries, or those who may be able, non-life threatening, those certainly don't warrant the attention that somebody that's on the cusp, right, of death. Same situation here, I think, that they're going to have to decide, okay, if you only get 15% of what you'd hope to get, then you're going to have to start making some of those tough decisions on who does and who doesn't get the Regeneron. The fortunate thing is the great majority of people, according to the health experts that we have talked to, the doctors we have talked to in Southeast Texas, the great number of people who are coming down or testing positive are not severe. There are severe cases. Don't let people think that there's not. But the number of deaths has been very, very low. Hospitalizations, a marked increase in the number of people who are in the hospital and in the ICU bed. So that is a concern. But when you're reading these numbers where you're seeing 429 new cases in a 24-hour period, and that's only the ones that got tested and only the ones that have been reported to the state. If a guy's at home or a lady's at home and they take a home test and they test positive, odds are the state's never going to know about that. So there are a lot of those that may be out there that have it that aren't going to report it. And there are going to be a lot of people that are asymptomatic or only have mild symptoms showing, but they still have the virus. But the good news, again, is the number of people who are dying from the Omicron variant and the number of people who are severely ill is much less than it was with, say, Delta. But there are still people that need that Regeneron infusion, but it doesn't look like everybody is going to get it. All right, another story of note this morning. This comes from the Houston Chronicle, and the byline is Mitchell Furman with the Texas Tribune. The story, I just wanted to bring, we're talking about some pretty warm temperatures so far, end of December going into January, but we're also talking about coming up over the course of the next several days, we're going to start seeing a more steady diet of temperatures overnight into the 30s and 40s and afternoon highs only in the 50s. So we're going to start turning the heat on. And energy experts are saying that we could be in, if we were to get another one of those freeze situations that we had last February, extreme winter weather, we could be in trouble again in the state of Texas. They're saying a relatively ordinary cold front was not a good sign when it came to taking care of the grid. Here's the story. During Texas' first strong cold front, natural gas production in the state's top energy producing region dropped by about 25%. And while the lights largely stayed on and power stayed on, the gas system's performance during that cold snap is raising questions about the grid's ability to handle extreme winter weather. Now, none of us want to think about that. None of us want to hear about that. But I think it's smart for the what ifs. As the old adage goes, you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best. But I think that we probably should be thinking, what are we going to do when we start seeing temperatures like that? Do you have a standby generator? Do you have someplace else you can go? Do you have a fireplace in your home? Do you have some way to stay warm? Just something to be thinking about when you see those kinds of stories. All right, next story this morning that I want to bring to your attention. I think this is something that's not just a symptomatic of an issue here in Southeast Texas. It seems to be everywhere. The story is about a red flashing light at a Beaumont intersection. It's at Washington Boulevard and 11th Street. The construction is finished there. The traffic light is up, but it's a flashing red light. They're having some issues with some federal regulation. And they've had a number of accidents there, and a number of the business owners and citizens who live nearby have been complaining about it. But to me, I wanted to just kind of point out, it seems that a lot of people maybe didn't get the memo or didn't take driver's ed and don't understand the process of when there are flashing lights, what goes on. Do you find that to be true? I think we all would say that people are less patient when they're driving. I think we've talked about it before here on the At Home Update that, in your opinion, because I ask it as a question of the day, more people run red lights today than you can remember for some time. And to me, it's not just a yellow go to red. I mean, it's a blatant red light. And it's like, I'm not being bothered by stopping for this. And they go on through. But this is also a little bit different. While it's very similar, is the fact that you have a flashing red light. And people look at each other like, what do we do? I'm going. No, I'm going. Instead of, A, a little bit of courtesy goes a long way. Just let the other person go. And B, the idea that it goes to the right. You circle all the way around and you come back. But again, I think some people never got that notion because driver's ed is something that you have to be 40 years old or older, probably 50 years old or older to have been going to driver's ed. So many of our drivers on the roads today are self-taught, are parent-taught, right? And so I'm just not sure if everybody gets all the lessons they should have before they start driving that car. You can let me know what you think about that. Again, you can come, all you have to do is post up just like you would on any other Facebook post. Like Terry Guillory says, yes, they don't watch and take their time. I'm good, Terry. I'm glad I'm not the only one that sees that. And again, some of it's just basic courtesy. Just, getting out of your own way and letting somebody else have the opportunity to go. Only takes a moment, but yet some people apparently Their life is so busy and they have so much to do that we can't give way. We can't give way. Okay, I'm just reading. I was reading somebody's comment. So let me see. I'm going to post. Chason says, we need to take out all the speed limit signs and lights today. People don't care. I want to know why when I am stopped, they have to stop right on my bumper. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But again, a lot of people, patience was not something they hand out with your driver's license. You don't have to pass the patience test to be able to get your driver's license. All right, I've had you for 15 minutes. I'm going to let you go here, but I always like to end on something a little bit lighter. Saw this one today, and I just had to share it with you. Subscription services are no longer something that just applies to newspapers or magazines, which many people might remember growing up. Your dad had a subscription to National Geographic, right? Or he took a subscription to a newspaper. Well, now you subscribe to a lot of things. You can subscribe to streaming services. You can subscribe to gaming services. You can subscribe to taco services. No, it's true. You can subscribe to a taco service. USA Today, Kelly Tyco's byline, Taco Bell launches Taco Lovers Pass subscription nationwide, 30 days of tacos for $10. Yeah, it's true. For $10 a month, you can buy a pass on their app. You get 30 days of tacos. And you might want to make sure it's at all participating locations or at least one you use, because the past prices apparently vary by location. And they have 7 different tacos that you can choose from. And again, of course, I don't think this is a subscription service that you're going to be able to get for $365, an entire year. It is a promotion. But I think that we'll see more and more of these that are going to be the real deal. That, you can take a subscription and be able to get something. Taco Lovers Pass. That's what they're calling it. And again, it's only on sale on the Taco Bell app. That's something you can get behind. I know a lot of folks that won't have a problem with that one. All right, that is it for me today. I appreciate you dropping by the house. Hope we caught you up on something and got you pointed in the right direction to get your Thursday going. Again, the reminder, there are a lot of ways that you can find out what's happening in your community. We'd like to hope that KFDM.com and Fox4Beaumont.com good way, as well as the morning show and the evening shows as well. You can also go to Facebook at KFDM News, which you already are on this morning, plus Twitter, Morning TV Dan. As we mentioned, we have a channel on YouTube. It's called Dan's at Home, and we post these updates there on a daily basis. Do me one more favor before you go this morning. Hit me with that thumbs up like. I would appreciate that. And of course, we'll look forward to talking to you again bright and early tomorrow morning. You go out and make it a terrific day.